Hey everybody, it's Michelle Brown from FedBiz Exchange. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to wish everyone well, and I have something exciting that I want to share with you guys today. The channel is taking a new direction, but right now I have something I want to share with you guys right away. I want to talk to you about winning contracts during COVID-19, which is what I've been doing. A lot has changed in my career, in my business world. So that's why it's been a while for me. I've been doing some things myself, working with some independent clients, but also doing some things for my own future as well. And I want to share with you guys today how you can quickly start to realize what are the contracts you can win with COVID-19, because it's not going to change in 2021, and we're headed there very quickly. And especially if we have a new president, you can expect a lot of new opportunities for small businesses, because small businesses, we just rock and we create everything. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen, and we will go ahead and get into it. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to win federal contracts during COVID-19 and in the future. Okay, but I want to welcome you guys first. Just want to say that I hope everybody is well and being safe, but please subscribe, because a lot of you are also going through some career changes, and you're doing some entrepreneurial business things, and I'd like you to continue to be able to do that. So let's get right into it, but first subscribe and share this channel with other business acquaintances, other business owners, and other aspiring government contractors. So in this video, I am specifically going to show you, number one, how I've been winning federal COVID-19 contracts. I have an example of one that turned out to be very lucrative. And then number two, and when I say lucrative, I mean profitable, because you can get a huge contract, but if you don't have good profit margins in there, then I mean, it's successful, yes, because you get the performance and all of that. Some of you have been watching my channel for a little while. Even though I haven't made videos within the past 6 months, you realize that I actually go out and I win contracts for clients. So number two, how you can quickly locate COVID-19 contract opportunities in FBO to win for yourself, starting today and through 2021. And like I said, after November 3rd, well, I should technically say by January, we will have likely a new president. Either way, even if we have our same president, there will be a lot of things done to help get this economy moving again. And I have experience with recovery, presidents that have had to come into this economy and turn it around. I had a very successful year with President Obama because of some of the things that he had to do to use small businesses to get this country back on track. So pay attention. So before we go to FBO, I want to quickly show you this contract. I need to get my glasses, give me just a second. Okay, so on this contract, this was a VA hospital contract. I did win this for a client and for myself. The contract, it's very small, but as you can see, let's just go into slideshow mode so that you can see this. I can make it a little bit bigger. Okay, you can see that a little bit better. But I did have to, for privacy reasons, block out some information. But as you can see, this is my signature. I signed the contract, I did all the negotiations, I won the contract, I did everything. The only thing that the client had to do was put up some money, and we split everything, including the expenses, but I won the contract. So as you can see, this contract was for $105,000. It's very small, so I'm just gonna go to the next slide so that you can see. I just made it a little bit bigger. You see that blue arrow there? That's the $105,000, $105,021. And then here's my signature. It was June 29th, 2020. This contract was for nitrile gloves, which is a huge deal right now. And I have a few videos that I want to do for you guys to help you understand what is happening in this country with government contracts and how, if you can do this, if you can stick with this, there's so much money to be made, but it's not for everyone. So you need to pay attention and you need to be focused when you're doing this. That's how I win. I just focus. It's as simple as that. So let's go on over. I'm going to change over to FBO.gov. I need to go over to the web. I just want to make sure that you guys are seeing. I'm going to do a new share. Make sure you're seeing FBO.gov. Here we go. So FBO.gov, I started here at the beginning because some of you don't know how to get there. I know you've been watching my videos. If you have, then you know how to get there. But let's go to FBO.gov. All you have to do is type in FBO.gov and it will come up. You don't have to type in FBOhome.sam.gov. Just type in FBO.gov and it'll come up. You will get this screen. We will hit FBO. It's going to give us some choices. And then if you've watched my other videos, then you know how to do this. Then we'll get to the area where you have choices. You're going to come down to contract opportunities. You're going to click search contract opportunities. And I'm going to show you very quickly how to find, or how to find, but also how to use the past 6 months to figure out what's going to happen. And I'm just going to give you some quick information, but in other videos, I will detail for you how I know what's going to happen. I'll show you how you can find some current things, but also how you can look at the past, maybe 3 months ago, 6 months ago. That's very, very important because you need to understand what's happening during COVID-19. You know from the outside, but you need to understand the government has not stopped buying anything, but there were shortages. And there's another video where I talked to you. There were some very serious shortages. So you need to know what the government needs. You need to know what to sell them. What are they looking for? They're not going to go out and find it themselves. They're just going to come to you. So let's say I have gloves, which is a hot commodity now, and it has been since COVID. And the reason it's a hot commodity is because it's very difficult to get nitrile gloves, very basic gloves. Some of you may know that. The blue nitrile gloves, the green, and sometimes they ask for other colors. But we are in a desperate situation for nitrile gloves. Well, I had a supplier that had nitrile gloves. I was working with one of my veteran clients, and we had a supplier that I located that we could work with that was trustworthy. A whole nother conversation. But when you win a contract, you need to know and understand and make sure that your partners are trustworthy. If you mess up a contract, it'll be a while before you get another one. Sometimes you'll get another chance, but this is why sometimes you need to start small. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's start with keywords. I know some of you don't know the exact keywords. That is something that I need to teach you guys and help you to remember. You need to focus on that. I have videos on it, but people don't do sometimes what I tell them to do, and they think they can skip the process. You have to know your keywords for your industry. Now, this one is kind of simple. COVID-19, I'm going to put in nitrile gloves. I did this every day. First thing in the morning, I always did this because I knew we had lots of gloves to sell and I knew where to get them, and not everybody had a supplier for getting these gloves. So I put in nitrile gloves. I didn't just put in nitrile gloves, but I also came down here to the area where I would decide the type of notice. I'm going to do type of notice because I want to get all the crap out. Okay, I'm going to put solicitations. Now, most of the nitrile glove solicitations are gone. They're coming out sporadically. We might see one here or there, but they were every day for the past 6 months. Now, I'm going to check active, or I should say uncheck active only, because I want to see everything for nitrile gloves. It looks like it, I'll have to put it back. And then I want to make sure that my solicitation box is checked. Yep. And that's all I want to see. So I'm going to hit enter for nitrile gloves, make sure my keyword is still there. And then I'm going to go down here just to make sure I'm getting only previous and current solicitations. So look at this. First of all, I need to come over here to relevance and change this to last updated. I want to see the most recent update. Okay. But before I hit relevance, I want you to just take a look at all of these nitrile glove opportunities that started back in March. So these are a little bit more current, but April, these were all huge. Every department, every federal agency was looking for nitrile gloves, pretty much. The Veterans Administration, because they have so many hospitals, they were asking for and buying hundreds of thousands. So, this is Department of Agriculture, the Veterans Administration. Every once in a while, you'll see a title that says something different, but you should click on it anyway, because in this link, if I were to click on this, I'd probably find that within their request under MedSurg, they're looking for gloves. It's just one of the items under MedSurg. So just because it doesn't say gloves does not mean that gloves has nothing to do with this particular item that says 6515 MedSurg. It's probably inside the solicitation. Otherwise, it would not have pulled up this item. Okay, there's something in this particular solicitation that connected to nitrile gloves. Okay, I'm just going to keep going down so that you can see nitrile gloves, all different types of nitrile gloves. Sometimes they ask for specific ones. If you don't have those specific ones, then you should look at the ones that want general types of gloves. These are gloves, but they are for specific situations. So we have hundreds and hundreds of solicitations previously for nitrile gloves. And how do I know that they're previous? Look at this one. If we go up just a little bit, this was in July, this was in May, this was in May. But I'm not going to pull up every single solicitation that was out for nitrile gloves. There are many more than this, I can tell you that. It just depends on how they were archived and how they were filed. But when I was looking for nitrile gloves, I bid on everything that I could to win that $105,000 contract. So you need to make sure that you're bidding often. Okay. So now, what about if I decided that I want to look at what's relevant? I'd have to go up here under relevance, but I want to look at what's relevant, but also the last updated to see if there are any recent opportunities for gloves that might show up. Well, that says airboat service, so I don't know how that would play into the mix, but let's see if there are any others down here. Look, here's one. COVID-19 emergency VISN nitrile gloves. That's a perfect one. Now this is new. So this is more recent. This would be an opportunity that I would highlight this opportunity, put it on my spreadsheet, and it would be one that I would make sure that I submitted the day before. It says current date due October 20th, but I would probably have it turned in by the 19th. I would check with my supplier first, make sure that they can meet my goals. I would ask them to give me a price, and that's how I would bid. That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother training. A lot of you still don't know how to price your products. I am very good at that, and I will admit I have not spent a lot of time on teaching you guys how to price your items. And we can do that, but the point is that you need to at least learn how to find the opportunities. Now, as I go down, this is the more relevant. I don't see that many more. Here's one for chemotherapy gloves. I would probably click on that just to see what the requirements are, if they're similar to nitrile gloves, just to make sure I'm not missing an opportunity. But as you can see, there are not very many that are current. But 6 months ago, there were a lot. And so why do you care about 6 months ago and not just today, because we're getting ready to go into another surge of COVID-19. We're still having issues. It's just that the government bought a lot of items from a lot of businesses like myself and other businesses, and so they're stocked up for a little bit. But we are in a new fiscal year as of October 1st. So that means the government has another $400 billion to spend. We're also headed into a recession. We have economic problems in this country. So there are a lot of things that the government, the federal government, not your state, your federal government is going to do to try to recover. That means getting businesses money, helping businesses to get back on their feet by buying things from small businesses, not just big businesses. They must work with small businesses. Small businesses really are the engine. Now, let's go back to my contract that I won. I want to show you something here. I need to make sure that I can, or I am showing you the right slide. So I just want to go back to my solicitation contract that I won. If we go back there, we can see that the profit, let me just go ahead and make this big, for that sale that I made, that profit was actually $31,000. So the client that I worked with, they took 15,000 and I took 15,000 with some change, but it was about $31,000. So this was a very good deal. You don't always find them where your profit margins are that good, but you can. The key is to be consistent. Even if it were $5,000, I would have done it. And the reason I say that is because the only way to get the government to work with you is to build your performance. And if there's a way for you to make $1,000 or $2,000 in profit, do it if you've never done anything before. Now, sometimes you do have to ask yourself, is it worth the time and the effort? This was very easy for us to do. All I had to do was give the money to the supplier, have the supplier deliver the gloves, and the government paid us. Voila, it was done. So you also have to look at the amount of work that needs to be done, the amount of people that are involved, and you have to make sure that you calculate your expenses. The only expense that we had was buying the gloves. Our supplier didn't charge us to mail them out. He may have charged us just a couple of other minor costs to do some specific things that we wanted them to do, but I can tell you that wasn't more than $1,000, and we still made out with $31,000 in profit. So that's what you want to look for. And that's it. I just wanted to share that with you guys very quickly to get back in the mix and to let you know that I will be doing some videos in the future. And thank you for joining me today. I'm Michelle Brown. Please write to me if you have questions. I'll see you in the next video.